this season. 13 of his 19 wins are bonus points. Now 197, Josh Hummer and Silas Allred. Silas Allred 22-5 this season, ranked number 10 in the country. He was named the Big Ten Wrestler of the Week, taking on Josh Nummer, the redshirt sophomore out of Kodiak, Alaska, who is 4-8 this season, coming off of a 4-2 win over Little Rock's Matthew Weinert back on February 3rd.
Lenny Pinto. I wouldn't, if I wasn't wrestling my best, I would not want to draw Lenny Pinto in the Big Tens or in the NCAAs. He's explosive, and you never know what's going to happen. And boy, he brought the fans to their feet, puts Nebraska in really good position right now.
Center.
Again, they need to win. Nebraska needs to win to put it away. If Arizona State wins, they're within 5. A Schultz pin would be a 21-20 win for Arizona State. So Silas Allred needs to execute as the favorite, just like his teammate Pinto did.
Silas Allred 22-5 this season, had a major decision win over Ohio State's Luke Geog last Friday night, 10-2, was named the Big Ten Wrestler of the Week earlier in the season, following up that of Liam Cronin, a 2-time state champion in Indiana from Anderson, Indiana, as he looks for a takedown over Josh Nummer.
Nice job of finding the far ankle there for the 2 points on the edge by Allred.
So 2 points for Silas Allred to get on the board in this first minute 9 seconds against Josh Nummer of Arizona State.
Green set, red, you're on.
Silas Allred has won 5 in a row. So Josh Nummer, 2-0 in the lead for Allred. Go out of bounds, he'll go back to the center. Tim, as you mentioned, this is a very important match for both teams here at 197.
Green set, red, you're on.
Nebraska can lock it with a win here.
Yeah.
Arizona State can come within 5 with Colton Schultz, 2-time All-American, heavyweight extraordinaire for
Arizona State. You know, you got to be thinking that at the heavyweights, we're talking about postseason, as Silas Allred continues to build up that riding time, but the heavyweights like Tony Cassiope, Craig Kirkfleet, Mason Paris, Colton Schultz, since the departure of Gable Stevenson, the Olympic gold medalist, they've got to be thinking, I got a chance to possibly win a national championship.
Well, you really bring up a great point, Ray, from a standpoint of when these guys came out of high school. Gable Stevenson, Kirkfleet, who's now at Penn State, of course, Cassiope at Iowa, Schultz. I would say that Schultz was probably at the bottom of that list, and Arizona State saw something in him from a character standpoint, from a toughness standpoint, from the way he lived his life, and they went early and said, let's give Schultz, and it's working out so far for him. Like you said, Gable Stevenson not in the mix anymore.
No.
And so it's a really interesting heavyweight situation out there this year.
Action, gentlemen.
Looking forward to the Big Ten
I got blood.
tournament coming up, as we'll see the Big Ten heavyweights go at it. 4-1, the lead for Silas Allred on top, ranked number 10 in the country. 35 seconds to go. Also, what's impressive, he built up the riding time to a minute 14 already, and we're still in the first period.
Yeah, that's really good work, though. Really good, hard wrestling by Silas Allred. He knows what he needs to do. Can't take any real risks, but he can be a hammer, and that's what he wants to be.
With Silas Allred, as you saw that on the mat feature, has dealt with adversity in his life.
No blood on you, right?
You can, for more Big Ten wrestling content, follow at B1G Wrestling.
Get set.
As Silas Allred on top, 4-1.
Yeah, that's a great story of how his dad, Eric, and here Silas in on the single leg, but his dad turns his life around, becomes a model to him, and then he had to watch his dad die of ALS. But really, rekindled, reconciled, and has a great memory and a great model from his dad. So kudos to what his dad Eric did in his life and the influence and the legacy he left to impact his son.
And also, not to bring out your tissues, but and now as we see Silas Allred on top or on the back, he is trying to build up some points, but no.
There you go. Walk your hips back over us. Keep that foot.
6-2 the lead for Silas Allred.
And, you know, we talk about the on-the-mat segments.
Yes.
You should watch them because of the story and the production. You know, the Big Ten Network production, it's just top-notch, every one of them. And it's just one, you know, watch it for the story and watch it for the excellence in production.
Well, you know what, Tim, just to talk about the Silas Allred piece, to conclude it, is that his father told Mark Manning before he passed away 2 more points, he said, "You have to be a second father to my son." I mean, talk about a moment there for the father of Silas Allred, who was getting ready to pass away, telling Mark Manning, "You got to be a second father to my son." But he's on top now, 8-2, as we have 90 seconds remaining. Riding time at 1:50 for the redshirt sophomore in Silas Allred.
Green. I got blood on the mat, too.
They got a little blood on the mat there. To give kudos to Bill Friedman, the BTN Originals. He's the one that oversees the production of those on-the-mat segments and all those special stories.
We got to love the production, and there is Silas Allred. Coming up next, Carver Hawkeye Arena. It is going to be rocky. Number 10, Oklahoma State. Number 2, Iowa. And how about this? The final regular season dual meet for Spencer Lee. What a special moment that is going to be.
You think this crowd got excited about their seniors? You wait until, you know, in the middle of that match, right? They're starting at 165
yes.
or so, and so that place is going to erupt when Spencer Lee comes out. So it's worth tuning in. It's worth staying on, especially if you've never seen Spencer Lee wrestle. You know, you got to tune in for that, and I think a lot of Iowans understand that, and so there'll be a lot of people tuning in.
I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about that, Tim. 2 more points for Silas Allred. Man, he is really opening up here, and this is significant for Nebraska because, as you pointed out, Colton Schultz for Arizona State on top. 2 more points for Silas Allred here. 12-4, his lead. Silas Allred ranked number 10 in the country, following that of another standout Cornhusker who graduated last year, Eric Schultz, who campaigned at 197. Riding time at 2 minutes 4 seconds for the Cornhusker.
Keep wrestling. Head up.
2 red.
Yeah, Allred is so threatening with that cradle that Neumer gave up the takedown just so he wouldn't have to deal with a cradle by Allred.
And Josh Neumer certainly has his work cut out for him. He was a redshirt sophomore out of Kodiak, Alaska. A little bit of a delay here. He claimed an Alaska State Championship, was a 2019 All-American in high school. A little bit of a pause in the action due to some blood, but we will get that cleaned up. 14-5, the crowd making noise here in Lincoln on this senior day for Nebraska, their final regular season dual meet of the year.
You know, Neumer's one of these guys. He's wrestled 174, 184, 197. Coach says, "Hey, do you want to wrestle?" Neumer says, "What weight?" You know, and you talked about him being from Alaska. He works on the fishing boats in the summer to pay for his college education. These are the kind of guys, you know, they're not going to be on the podium necessarily, but they help the guys get on the podium.
14-5, Silas Allred on top. And if you're Silas Allred, you got to be thinking it's not about major decision. It's about a tech fall, possibly a pin at this point. But if you're Josh Neumer, again, one of my favorite quotes out of you, TJ, the match within the match. Can you find a way to hold him to either a major decision or even get some points on the board and make it just a decision?
There's always an opportunity to win a championship, quote unquote, your championship here is to finish strong, to not give up more than you need to right here. You got to be tough all the way through. You know, of course, Arizona State's hoping that Norfleet, their normal 197-pounder, can come back. They don't know for sure. They're hoping that he can be back for the Pac-12. You put Vasquez at 141, even though, wow, today, you know, the big upset at 141 went Arizona State way.
Yeah, talking about Emilio Yassagiri.
Yeah, and so that's a decision to make there. Do you pull the red shirt this late in the year, you know, and you have that kind of effort? And obviously it depends on Vasquez and whether he can come back. And then, of course, Norfleet at 197 would just strengthen Arizona State's opportunity to get in there for a trophy. And, of course, you know, at this time of the year, everybody's banged up. And you just got to realize it is what it is. And so the guys that get on the podium, the teams that win the trophies, they're the ones that win irregardless of how banged up they are.
Well, you know, you talked about pulling red shirts. I mean, probably the most significant red shirt that was pulled was that of Penn State's Levi Haynes this year for the Nittany Lions. We'll see him in a couple of weeks at the Big Ten Championships in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, Levi Haynes, he's really tough, and he just made a formidable Penn State team even more so. Obviously, the heavy favorites to win the NCAA title again this year as a team.
16-7, riding time secured. 2 more points coming for Silas Allred. He's on top by 11. Riding time secured, under a minute to go in this third period. 2 more points. Look at this. He is piling up points. 20-8. Your score looks like a football score, even though we're a week removed from the Super Bowl.
One green,
and a lot of time left here. He gives the 1 point automatic escape, 20-9. He'd like to get feet to the back.
Allred's thinking tech fall. That is one thing that has evaded him. He has 7 pins and 5 major decisions. 2 more points coming for Silas Allred, 22-9. A 13-point advantage. Riding time secured. 25 seconds to go.
A takedown here with riding time would give the tech fall. Puts a real exclamation mark on these last 2. 184, 197. Boy, did they come through for the Huskers. 11 points.
Look at that. Silas Allred building up. That riding time secured. And out of bounds they go. 5 seconds remaining. If it holds as is, it'll be a tech fall for Silas Allred.
Wait for my whistle. Get set, Green. Set, Red, you're on. Set. 1, 2.
And the tech fall for Silas Allred as he defeats Josh Newmer. Look at the ovation for the fans here in Lincoln. Silas Allred improves to 23-5 this season. What a performance over Josh Newmer.